Alrighty. Looks like it's time for the DPS safety video. You ready for this? Oh man, it's been like 24 seconds. Alrighty. Let's begin.
Safety prior to the behind the wheels skills test being administered beginning September 1st, 2014. And now, a few words from the director.
Hi, I'm Steve McCraw, the Director of the Texas Department of Public Safety. One of my jobs is to certify that you have the skills and the knowledge necessary to operate a motor vehicle safely on Texas roadways. Texas State Troopers have many difficult tasks, including arresting violent gang and cartel members, seizing large drug loads, stolen vehicles and weapons, and having to make difficult split-second decisions to save lives. But the most difficult task of a Texas State Trooper is showing up to a crash scene to discover children and young adults who have been crushed or killed in horrific ways.
No way.
And having to notify their parents and watch helplessly as they are consumed by horror and grief. So it's important for you to know that driving is one of the most dangerous things people do on a daily basis, especially so if they don't give it their full attention. Every year, thousands of people die on Texas highways, and tens of thousands more are seriously injured, maimed, or permanently disfigured. As a young adult, you'll decide whether it's worth risking your life and the lives of others to read or send a text while you're driving.
That would be great.
It's your choice, and lives can be saved if you choose well. Unfortunately, far too many adults believe that the dangers of distracted driving apply only to teenagers. And these same adults believe they have a unique ability to send or read texts or emails while they're driving with little or no risk to anyone else.
What?
It is our hope that after going through this program, you'll be able to share some of the dangers of distracted driving with some of the adults in your life. Even just one conversation could help to save a life.
Let's start out by defining distracted driving. Distracted can be summed up and defined as to have the attention diverted or to be rendered incapable of behaving or reacting in a normal manner. Now, driving can be defined as to cause and guide the movement of a vehicle. If the two are combined, distracted driving can be defined as any activity that could divert a person's attention away from the primary task of driving. As we continue through this course, keep this definition in mind. What do you consider lethal?
Snakes.
The following displays 4 answers given by teens and 1 unsuspecting lethal factor. Let's look at some of their responses.
Definitely snakes.
Piranhas.
Absolutely, those are deadly.
Deadly virus.
Those are, I mean, that makes sense. That's deadly.
Shotguns. And poison.
I mean, why, what is that sound effect?
How can these things be lethal? Sure, all 4 of these things can take human life, but lattes? How can that possibly be lethal?
No,
Of course, we all know that coffee houses don't sell poisonous drinks.
Yeah, they do.
But when a driver takes their hands off the wheel to grab a cup, they don't have full control of the steering wheel.
Oh.
And that can be lethal. Let's look at more answers that teens gave us. Rattlesnakes. Uzis.
Absolutely.
Cancer.
Are you saying it's not?
And floods.
I mean, yeah.
These 4 things are surely lethal. But how does texting fit on this list? Did you know sending a text while driving can take your eyes off the road for about 5 seconds? This can be compared to driving the length of an entire football field blindfolded at 55 miles per hour. Texting while driving is a very serious problem in our society that most teens overlook.
My dude, that guy is...
Texting takes your eyes off the road, hands off the steering wheel, and your attention away from driving. And that is why texting while driving is a lethal combination. Well, let's see.
That's a shark! That's very animated shark,
Sharks?
but it's a shark nonetheless.
Bullies.
What? Bully? What?
Lightning.
Oh yeah, that's deadly.
And famine for sure can be considered lethal. But how did a GPS make it on this list?
It didn't.
A GPS was designed to direct individuals to their destination. However, If these devices are used improperly, they can become a factor in a lethal crash. GPS devices should only be programmed with a destination point before getting on the road. Taking your hands off the steering wheel and focus off the road to program a GPS while driving can be a very dangerous act. Can you see how a device designed to direct you to your destination can actually prevent you from ever getting there?
I have to do all of
Spiders,
these tonight. I'm going to be here
missiles,
for 160 minutes. Like
drugs,
2.5 hours straight of watching videos.
and tornadoes. These are definitely dangerous and can also be lethal. But how did your best friend forever Shirley make this list? Was this a mistake? Well, believe it or not,
I don't think
BFFs
put
can
their
cause
best
huge
friend
distractions in your
on
vehicle.
the list.
Discussing what recently happened on a popular reality television show or the latest news concerning your favorite sports team can easily be overlooked as being a distraction. The truth is, friends can easily take your attention off of driving, and that can be lethal. Let's look at one more set of responses to the question, what do you consider lethal? Swords,
Yeah,
fires,
absolutely.
school violence,
You know it.
and terrorism.
Nah.
But lipstick? This seems so out of place.
I don't think that fits
Now,
me.
there probably aren't any reports of lethal lipstick, mascara, or eyeshadow.
Is that a bet?
However, when applying makeup while driving, well,
ever
you
hear
can
of
probably
people
see where we're
swallowing
going
makeup?
with this. If you are applying makeup while driving, you're not paying complete attention to the road, which can have lethal consequences. Teen drivers must always be aware that engaging in
driving
common
sideways?
activities such as sipping a latte, texting, applying makeup, chatting with friends,
Outside the window.
or
of
even
course.
programming a GPS device while driving can result in fatal crashes.
Oh my.
In 2013, there were 2,535 teens murdered, 5 teens fatally attacked by an animal, 1,168 teens that were fatally poisoned, and
I doubt that.
2,269 teen deaths related to disease.
Nice.
But there is another category that exceeds these numbers.
Texting.
Recent National Highway Transportation Safety Association statistics show over 3,000 teens under the age of 20 were involved in
that's
fatal
what
crashes.
Teen means.
This age group has the largest portion of drivers who
guess.
were distracted. Teen drivers
Teens
must
have to be
realize
under 20,
that
though.
crashes as a result of distracted driving are not accidents. They are 100% preventable.
Are they really?
Let's take a look at other responses to the same question. What do you consider lethal? And the story of a high school football star with a promising future. As you watch this
but it's a
video,
sad thing.
keep in mind these are not actors but real people who have made poor choices and suffered the lethal consequences of distracted driving.
I'm just gonna sit here for a minute.
Disasters,
Smoking,
Cigarettes, alcohol,
Forest fires.
disease,
Cancer.
domestic violence.
falling.
what do I consider lethal? Well, obviously things that kill people.
What do I consider lethal? Leaving your door unlocked and crazy people can get in.
A shot to the head.
Stupid people with guns.
AIDS,
Bombs.
murderers.
So what do you consider lethal? For most, it's a matter of perspective. It's either the dangers they sense immediately around them,
Really?
or it's based on an experience they had. We asked random people what they thought was the #1 killer of teens in America. Here's what they said.
Number one killer of teens in America would be
I would probably say drugs.
Sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
Drugs.
I don't know, drugs.
probably something drug related.
Meth.
Probably have something to do with guns.
I would say acting stupid.
Monster trucks.
Drunk driving, I guess.
Probably drunk driving.
Drug driving.
Drunk driving. I would have to say cigarettes.
Gang violence. Violence.
I would have to say negative thinking.
Animals. Smoking crack and getting pregnant.
So some of you are watching this thinking, great, the same old crap we always hear about. Drunk driving, drugs, and the evils of pirating music. But the #1 killer of teens in America is something we've all participated in.
Wow, I
Distracted
didn't know
and
that.
reckless driving. Seriously, we've all sent a text message while driving. updated our
no
Facebook,
idea that
made a playlist,
texting
dug
your
through a bag,
friends could
turned to
kill.
talk to friends, all while
No.
supposedly paying attention to the road. So for the
we've
next
never
few
been
minutes,
told this
we want to show you the lives that have been shattered by distracted and reckless driving, and the simple things that you can do to avoid becoming a statistic.
A teenager is dead after an overnight accident, and police say speed was a factor.
The cops estimated he was going about 100 miles an hour.
She went head on into another car, and that gentleman was killed also.
And basically, they were just being kids, driving a little bit fast is all. Good intentions.
A special vigil tonight to remember a standout athlete.
My daughter has lost one of her very dearest friends, her big brother.
There was an invitation on the roof as to where he had said it.
I visualized that for years afterwards. He clipped the sidewalk or the curb, went upside down.
Experts say car accidents are the #1 killer of teens nationwide.
I don't have my brother anymore. He's not here. He's not around.
And I heard him say time of death. And I just freaked out.
Did you?
So what exactly is reckless and distracted driving? Let's put it this way. Anytime you have to take your eyes off the road for any reason, that's distracted driving. And reckless driving, that's speeding and driving like a total idiot. Now for the simple part. How do you keep from needlessly dying in a car crash?
I
That's
have
easy.
Edgy
First,
Kid watching.
you tell your friends
Thank
that as
you
much
so
as you
much for
love
this
them, to
commentary
sit
of
down
the
and
DPS
shut up
driving
when you're
test.
behind the wheel.
Actually,
If they continue
this
to
is
fool
the
around in your
DPS
car,
driving
tell
test
them how
video
great they would look with a
trademark.
feeding tube in their stomach. Second, you realize that you decrease the risk of crashing your sweet car by 2,000% when you don't text and drive. Third, you come to terms with the fact that you might have to wake up 2 minutes earlier just so you're not speeding and running stop signs and putting your life and the lives of others at risk, just so you're not late.
If it were one, maybe.
Still not exactly sure what reckless and distracted
Okay,
driving
you
is?
just changed the quality
Let's hear
of
what our
microphone
resident expert has to say.
Hi everyone, it's Katie here
You know about
to talk
driving.
to you about your driving habits. So, here you are driving along with your peeps. You got your window down,
I will not
King's
take
Way,
advice
you're
from
going
you,
like toddlers
coward.
in a candy shop.
You haven't
when
driven a day in
the
your life.
driver, decides to impress your friends with an outlandish display of horsepower. Really? Breaking the speed limit? Risking your life just for
Not
kicks and
breaking the
giggles?
speed limit.
Come on, people.
Breaking it.
That's called reckless driving. How about this little scenario? You are a safe driver who never speeds or breaks the law. But as you are driving, you just had to send that important text message about the guy who likes the girl at school, or does he know, or does she know, or do you know, or whoopsie daisy, you just hit a telephone pole. Hello, folks! You're driving a 6,000-pound metal beast! Don't you think the latest awesome school gossip could
Pretty sure
be?
mine is not, in fact, 6,000 pounds.
Distracted driving. You drive like that in my hood, my mom will be all up
Hood?
in your grill. Faster than you could say, oh no she didn't, girlfriend. I gotta run.
I'm sure
Yeah.
you do.
I think we all learned something today.
Oh, did
Everyone gets distracted while driving. So what distracts
just-
you?
If I'm reading directions as I'm driving, I get
I'm
distracted.
gonna
Putting on
call
makeup,
someone
Just getting lost in thought and not paying attention to what I'm
Get them
doing.
Like
to enter
eating.
the stream.
eating, drinking, looking for stuff in my purse.
Oh, the beautiful sunset. Just staring over there while I'm driving, you know?
Friends in the back seat.
Other people in the car.
Looking for something on the floor.
I definitely talk on the phone while I drive. And I don't want to admit that I get distracted, but I do.
Probably just music. I should like change my music on my iPod or texting.
Texting, emailing.
Texting,
iPods, talking.
Texting. Some people suck at texting when they're driving. I, however, am really good at it.
What you often hear from victims is that they never thought it would happen to them. That their son, daughter, friend, or classmate would be involved in a fatal car crash. And absolutely no one could imagine causing such a tragic
That did
event.
not work. All right.
Let me tell you about Donovan.
He was my teammate.
He was my son.
He was a classmate.
He was my best friend.
He was my boyfriend.
My son was my baby boy.
Ha ha.
We were just kids, like, having fun.
I've honestly just been desensitized at this point.
We were laughing, we were blaring the music up really loud, and I noticed that we were going pretty fast. And it was causing the car
to swerve back and forth.
We're like making fun of her, telling her like, can't you keep the car like in a straight line?
My response was, oh, like this? And I jerked the wheel back and forth. And the next thing I know,
That's just bad.
I just see a tree coming at us.
I remember like all the sounds of like the car crashing.
I looked around and I see Donovan, but he wasn't moving. So I sat with Danica. I kept telling her, I think Donovan's dead. Donovan's dead. I even remember calling out Donovan's name and, hoping that he would hear me and just get up.
I saw him like laying in his own blood, and I knew for sure that he was gone.
When we walked up, that's what he first said. He said, Donovan didn't make it.
I remember hearing Martha,
not my son. Please give me
not
context.
my boy.
I need
And I think that was
context
one of the
to relate
most
to the
painful
story.
things to experience,
Give me
was hearing a
context.
mother cry about her son.
Please.
The screaming of a mother,
I need to
just now
hear
finding out that
Donovan.
your son is dead. And all simply because of something that was so preventable.
We
were just going home. Speed wasn't really a factor.
Context, I
Before we
crave
knew it, like
context.
in a matter of seconds, we lost our best friend.
It was my fault being the driver because I had that responsibility. I would change it if I could.
We were just having fun.
And within a split second,
I lost somebody that meant the world to me, and it changed my life forever.
The four others in the car survived. Alex was admitted to the hospital with 7 injuries. Gavin nearly died at the scene and was in a coma for 2 weeks. Dustin broke several ribs and punctured his kidney. Danica lives every day knowing she could have prevented the death of her boyfriend. And then the Losers Club broke up. It could no longer get to them. They were safe for now.
So you've heard the compelling stories. You've seen the stats. And unless you were sleeping or busy worried about what your teacher is wearing today, you understand the simplicity of the message. What is lethal to teens are bad driving habits. Something that can be changed. Something that can start saving lives today. And the reason this is so important to me, my life was shattered by a reckless driver who took the lives of my mom, 2 best friends, and niece while I was pulled from the burning wreckage. I live every day thinking about what could have happened if that driver had chosen to drive differently. Don't let it happen to you.
What do you consider lethal? Snakes? Snakes are pretty bad.
You see, this is not about bad teens doing bad things. This is about good teens making poor decisions. Whether you are the driver or a passenger, it is extremely important to make good decisions while in a vehicle. Don't be afraid to speak up when you find yourself in an unsafe situation. Each one of the surviving 4 teens in the last story said they knew things were just a little too crazy in the car that night. They wished they had spoken up, and if they had, their friend Donovan would be alive today.
3, 2, 1. What is this?
Eric Rasmussen walks a slackline suspended hundreds of feet in the air.
Why do I need to know this?
Every step has to be perfect, because way up here, there's no safety net.
So out of context.
You think this is dangerous? It's no texting and driving. That's just dumb.
Distracted driving. It's not worth it.
Why did they put like an infomercial at the end of this? Oh, finally. I can skip to lesson... Learning check. Drinking a latte or soda. Texting. Applying makeup. Viewing a GPS. Or chatting with friends while driving are all distractions that can result in fatal crashes. I mean... Over 3,000 teens the past year. Of 15... True. I feel like most of these are just going to be true. just gonna preemptively put true there. Whether you are the driver or passenger, it's extremely important to make good choices. Sure. Oh man, I forgot. I probably need to readjust the screen here. Let me just... Here we go. There you go. Now you can see it all. Let's see. Next. Lesson 2. Rue lethal. Is that like a... I don't know.
Are you
it's
lethal?
Only 10 minutes. Nice.
Did you know there wasn't one day without a death on Texas roadways in 2012?
Well, it's 2009.
Let me break it down further for you. One person was killed every 2 hours and 35 minutes. One person suffered injuries every 2 minutes and 17 seconds. And if that's not enough to raise your eyebrows, one reportable crash occurred every 75 seconds.
1, 2, 3.
What's up, everyone? I'm Brittany, that's Steven, and this is Are You Lethal?
In 1 year, teenagers. Oh, okay. The fatality rate for drivers is 4 times higher than for Drive RS. What? What kind of, like, horrible...
So, Brittany, as you know, we talk a lot about being distracted while you drive.
Right, and how that kills more teens in America than anything else.
Disease, guns, disasters, smoking, sharks, drugs, flea markets.
Dude, sharks are dangerous.
And while all those things can be lethal, they still don't kill as many young people as distracted driving.
Which brings us to the one thing that distracts teenagers more than anything else.
Justin Bieber's hair?
Nope.
Yeah.
The muscular physique of Taylor Lautner.
No.
How about Robert Pattinson's smile?
No, it's not in my diary. That stuff's personal. It's actually this little guy right here.
Ah, the rare and extremely dangerous Asian spotted phone.
Yeah, also known as cellulus textus. And it's not that rare at all. In fact, it's estimated that 80% of young people between the ages of 12 and 17 have cell phones.
Which begs the question, who are the 20% that don't?
Exactly. The cell phone is so much a part of our lives, keeping us connected to our friends, our family, all of our loved ones, and even keeping up with the moments of celebrities.
Which is why for many teens it is unthinkable to not use their phone while driving. Whether talking, texting, updating Facebook, or even Twitter.
Yeah, it's like rude not to respond immediately to someone's text or pick up the phone.
Or being placed in a body bag. The choice is easy.
So, here's the challenge. Start changing how you and your friends think about cell phones, texting, and everything that goes with it by keeping your phone in your pocket while you drive, telling your friends not to respond to you if they are driving. All right, let's hear a point of view that's a little different on the subject.
What's with the phone? Always on the phone. Back in my day, phones were bolted to the wall. You couldn't drive off with them. You just talked.
Back in my day.
And when you were driving, you weren't making a phone call. You were just dadgum driving. But oh no, along comes cheap cell phones, and everybody's got to have it all at once. All the calling and all the texting, chatting and tweeting and updating, because everyone just really needs to know exactly where you are right now, to hear from you right now, and everyone will freak out if you don't respond right now. What? You can't wait 5 minutes to make that call? You can't pull over onto a parking lot and send that message? What? Like it's going to ruin your day? Well, I'll tell you what will ruin your day, and that's when someone else has to tell your people why you never finished that phone call. Like this guy. I just don't get it.
This guy.
All right, keep sharing these videos with your friends. The next life you save may be your own.
Wow, thanks, Captain Cliche.
Better late than never.
Okay, now this is stuff.
Funny.
The estimated economic loss of all motor vehicle crashes in 2012 was over $26 billion. That's a lot of money. In fact, that's enough to cover tuition for 520,000 Texas teens at any public university in the state of Texas. When it comes to injuries, nearly 250,000 individuals were injured in traffic crashes in 2012 alone. These numbers can truly blow your mind.
I didn't know that.
What's up, everybody? I'm Steven, and this is Brittany.
What's up?
Lethal.
Turn on closed captions for this, right? I guess not. Stream. Oh wow, I had 2 viewers at one point.
Welcome everybody to the show that reminds you that there's something redeemable about the internet.
Well, besides watching adorable kittens play the keyboard and dance and sneeze and...
Right. Because nothing says wise life choices like giggling at hamsters on your computer.
YouTube, you complete me.
So as you know, Are You Lethal is all about sharing the ways that we can make our roads less deadly for us, the millions of teens behind the wheel of a car every day.
Yeah, and today we want to talk to you about what people refer to as being intoxicated.
Really?
Well, it's just texting and driving. Essentially looking away from the road to respond to a text.
Not only is this practice the leading killer of teens in America, it's something that we've all done at one point.
It actually started to become a habit of mine. I even thought I was pretty good at it.
Which is why I sent Steven on assignment to show how taking your eyes off the road text can be painful, especially when you're sharing the road with something a bit bigger than you.
Hey guys, just skating here at my local skating rink, and Brittany said she had some kind of experiment set up, but I don't really know what's going on. You know, that's the thing about Brittany.
He's gonna run
you never really know
into a
what she's
car.
got planned. She's always doing... Hold on, guys. Oh, Sandra, you...
Run into the stand.
This guy's so funny. Oh.
She's gonna run him over. This is not scripted at all. This is a murder. They're planning to murder him.
Oh. 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 All right. Oh.
Oh! Painful.
Pretty much.
It's not.
I
That's
basically
just.
came away from that experience.
Dude,
not
he had a
texting and
hip
driving for
placed
2
on
reasons.
him. That's
It was
not
a
the
painful lesson in
same.
distracted driving, and I've lost some of my finer motor skills.
Nice. So if Steven's sacrificing his body
And some dignity.
wasn't enough, we sent Steven down to the local emergency room to talk to some doctors and nurses who deal with the aftermath of these collisions every day.
Car collisions are the #1 cause of injury in teens. Hands down, the most common reason is distracted driving. If they just were paying attention, weren't distracted, they would never be here. They hit the steering wheel going 60 miles an hour. Their organs then hit the inside of their chest wall.
Their organs are basically ripped away from the blood supply, and people just bleed internally.
Their brain then slams up against the inside of their skull, and causing bleeding in the brain.
Broken ribs.
Broken backs.
Head trauma, neck trauma, chest trauma, abdominal and pelvic trauma. They can lacerate their spleen, their liver.
Some spinal injuries that are just devastating.
They immobilize them completely. They put a collar around their neck. Typically come in on a backboard. Basically, they're tied down so they can't move at all. There'll be a trauma team here to greet them.
X-ray, CT ready to go.
We'll put lines in them for intravenous fluids and medications.
Big lines, you know, big 18-gauge needles.
Tubes to help them urinate. We'll put tubes in their chest, tubes in their stomach to drain blood collections.
We need to maintain their airway first and foremost, so we're putting tubes in their nose or down their throat to make sure that we're maintaining their airway.
Respiratory therapists, pharmacy, a number of nurses, technicians, doctors, all in the room.
Drawing blood, preparing to do blood transfusions.
They're terrified. You know, they've just been in a very traumatic event, and then they have all these people around them, all, you know, coming down on them all at once, and it can be very, very scary. They can die, they can bleed to death in a matter of seconds.
There's nothing tougher than having to go in and tell a parent that their child has passed away.
I cannot even imagine.
Nobody ever thinks that their children are going to die first.
1 minute they're having the time of their lives with all their friends, and you know, one little mistake can change their lives forever.
Until next time, don't forget to ask yourself,
Are you
lethal?
Are you lethal?
We have focused a lot on teens that were killed in fatal crashes, but let's also take into consideration those teens that were injured or involved in crashes. Did you know in 1 year alone, there were 91,264 Texas teen drivers between the ages of 15 and 19 involved in crashes?
Time. It's what we use to measure life. Every hour, minute, and second counts. While some days fly by, other moments seem like an eternity. Memories made with every tick of the clock. As life becomes a collection of priceless moments that we spend with our family and friends. It's the big things that we often remember, but it's the split seconds that can change everything. Distracted driving is the #1 killer of teens in America. One small decision changes everything.
Wait, I wonder if I just... No way. Did I just... Is that actually... I can't believe this has happened. Oh boy. That's really unfortunate that they managed to do that. I'm just gonna go and make sure that this is not just... I'm just gonna go to lesson 3. Wait, so I can just go to every question and see. Alright, so if I go to lesson 2. Where's lesson 2? Control Shift I. If we find that. You know what? Where? True. No. Ah. Wait, so there's no consequences whatsoever to getting it wrong. What? Alright, so one bad thing to one good thing. Alright.
It can happen
However,
to
this
you.
video is in fact 20 minutes.
Old or young, anyone can be involved in a crash.
A bad wreck could never happen to me. Those things happen to other teens.
I'll never be in a car accident because of distracted driving. I'm too good a driver. Only bad drivers are in car wrecks.
I'm a great driver. I won't cause a wreck because I have 2 whole years of experience.
It can happen to anyone. You may never be the one that causes a fatal crash, but there are other teens on the road who can take your life because of their poor choices while driving. Distracted driving has to be eliminated in your car and all of the other cars around you. Did you know, according to the most recent data available from the National Center for Health Statistics, motor vehicle crashes is the leading cause of death for individuals 15 to 20 years old. 400,000 people each year are seriously injured in car crashes. That's adults, teens, and children. Law enforcement has had their share of cases involving underage drinking. However, 75% of fatal teen driving crashes do not involve alcohol. Texas data has shown an increase in teen drivers and passengers that do not wear seatbelts. This has added to the number of fatalities and the severity of injuries in all crashes, including those caused by distractions. Always remember to wear a seatbelt and ensure that your passengers buckle up too. We will now take a look at a short video. As you watch this video, keep in mind these are not actors but real people who have had their whole world changed forever due to poor choices made behind the wheel.
1/10 of the way there.
1, 2, 3, 4.
4. That's the building. That's.
I was always trying to figure out where my kids' passions were and what they would like, and her love for animals. I just came up with an idea to try horseback riding and took her out. Annie had no fear on her horse. She loved it. It's like she understood her horse understood her. That's all she thought about.
She was very passionate about animals and the things that she believed in. A few years ago, the horse that we owned, we lost in one of the wildfires. When that happened, she actually shut down somewhat emotionally.
She loved her horse, but I think that she wasn't able to get back into that with any other new horse. So I think she closed that door, and I think music was where she really had to focus.
Play a game or
something. She started listening to music, and then she started going to a lot of concerts, which in turn started her wanting to play the guitar.
We got her into lessons, and she was actually very natural with it, and very good with it. And she was even writing her own music.
Actually, we didn't see a lot of her songs that she had written.
What are we gonna do?
Till after she died, unfortunately. But she had a lot of things going on, ready to do, ready to jump into.
You know, had a list of all the concerts coming, and
we had to put a limit on how many concerts, because of
play
course there was one every night. Even if her friends couldn't go, she would go by herself.
True.
She didn't care.
She worked at a little shop.
Options.
She got into surfing.
Full screen.
5:30 or 6, Annie called me just to let me know what she was doing, and I reminded her, have your curfew, don't forget.
Her come home
Let's go. New game. Let's start, dude.
We didn't get the call till 10 minutes to 4 Saturday morning.
they
Put
just
this
asked if
over
I was
here.
Annie's mother, and I said yes. And I said, where is she? He said, well, there's been an accident. And he said, well, you know what, just stay right there. Someone will be coming over.
As soon as they said, stay there, I realized what had happened.
Huh. All right, well.
When you hear the buzzer, look up at the ceiling. Good. You will hear a buzzer. When you hear the buzzer, look down at the floor. Good. This completes the gymnastic portion of your mandatory physical and mental wellness exercise. There is a framed painting on the wall. Please go stand in front of it. This is art. You will hear a buzzer. When you hear the buzzer, stare at the art. You should now feel mentally reinvigorated. If you suspect staring at art has not provided the required intellectual sustenance,
Intellectual sustenance.
good. Now please return to your bed. Good morning. You have been in suspension for 9. This courtesy call is to inform you that
Anyone in
all
there?
test subjects should vacate the enrichment
Hello?
center immediately. Any test subject.
Are you back? Ah! Oh, God. You look good. Looking good, actually. Are you okay? Are you... Don't answer that. I'm absolutely sure you're fine. There's plenty of time for you to recover. Just take it slow.
Please prepare for emergency evacuation.
Stay calm. Stay calm. Prepare. That's all I'm saying. Prepare. It's all fine. All right? Don't move. I'm going to get us out of here. Oh, you might want to hang on to something. Word of advice. Up to you.
Wonderful moment.
You all right down there? Can you hear me? Hello? Most test subjects do experience some cognitive deterioration after a few months in suspension. Now, you've been under for quite a lot longer, and it's not out of the question that you might have a very minor case of serious brain damage. But don't be alarmed, all right? Although if you do feel alarmed, try to hold on to that feeling, because that is the proper reaction to being told that you've got brain damage. Do you understand what I'm saying at all? Does any of this make any sense? Just tell me, just say yes.
To save that time forever.
Okay, what you're doing there is jumping. You just jumped. But never mind. Say apple. Apple. Okay, you know what? That's close enough. Just hold tight.
All reactor core safeguards are now non-functional. Please prepare for reactor core meltdown.
Okay, look, I wasn't going to mention this to you, but I'm in pretty hot water here. How you doing down there? You still...
To be harmless.
The reserve power ran out, so of course the whole relaxation centre stops waking up the bloody test subjects. Hold on!
Distracted driving is lethal.
Nobody tells me.
Motor vehicle.
Oh, why should you tell me anything? Why should I be kept informed? You know, about the...
Every dot on this poster
Test subjects.
represents a teen that has lost their life in a one-year period throughout the United States. The different colored dots represent different causes of their death: murder, suicide, disease, and other injuries. The 3,200...
Supposed to be in charge of. Why? It's close. Can you see? Am I gonna make it through? Have I got enough space? Just gotta get through here. Okay, I just gotta concentrate. And whose fault do you think it's gonna be when the management comes down here and finds 10,000 flipping vegetables? Alright, see, now I hit that one. Okay, listen, we should get our story straight, all right? If anyone asks, and no one's going to ask, don't worry, but if anyone asks, tell them as far as you know, the last time you checked, everyone looked pretty much alive, all right? Not dead. Okay, almost there. On the other side of that wall is one of the old testing tracks. There's a piece of a...
Sophomore is driving during the day without any passengers.
Think this is a docking station. Get ready.
Suddenly she realizes that
Good news! That is not a docking station. So there's one mystery solved. I'm going to attempt a manual override on this wall. Could get a bit technical. Hold on. Almost there. Remember, you're looking for a gun that makes holes, not bullet holes. But don't worry, you'll figure it out. Seriously, do hold on this time.
Hello, and again, welcome to the Aperture Science Enrichment Center. We are currently experiencing technical difficulties due to circumstances of potentially apocalyptic significance beyond our control. However, thanks to emergency testing protocols, testing can continue. These pre-recorded messages will provide instructional and motivational support so that science can still be done, even in the event of environmental, social, economic, or structural collapse. The portal will open and emergency testing will begin in 3, 2, 1. Cube and button-based testing remains an important tool for science, even in a dire emergency. If cube and button-based testing caused this emergency, don't worry. The odds of this happening twice are very slim.
She programmed a few of her favorite radio stations in her stereo, and oftentimes will plug in her MP3 player before she starts driving. Leah, as safe of a driver as she thinks she may be.
If you feel liquid running down your neck, relax, lie on your back, and apply immediate pressure to your temples. You are simply experiencing a rare reaction in which the material emancipation grill may have emancipated the ear tubes inside your head.
Chris, like most teens his age, can't live without his cell phone. So he thinks. Now, he has heard his parents explain the dangers of texting and driving many times before. However, Chris is under the impression that since he only sends short text messages while he drives, it really isn't a big deal. One day, Chris's mother asked him to pick up his
Good.
brother David.
Because of the technical difficulties we are currently experiencing, your test environment is unsupervised. Before re-entering a relaxation vault at the conclusion of testing, please take a moment to write down the results of your test. An Aperture Science Reintegration Associate will revive you for an interview when society has been rebuilt.
Chris increased his probability of being involved in a vehicle crash 1,839%. So in fact, while behind the wheel, the only way to live is without your phone.
If the Earth is currently governed by a manner of animal king, sentient cloud, or other governing body that either refuses to or is incapable of listening to reason.
Hey! You made it!
And help save lives.
There should be a portal device. Oh! Hello?
Who have had their whole world.
Can you see the portal, Dad?
Choices.
Also, are you alive? That's important. You ask that first. Do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to work on the assumption that you're still alive, and I'm just going to wait for you up ahead. I'll wait 1 hour, then I'll come back, and assuming I can locate the dead body, I'll bury it. All right? Brilliant. Go, team!
Some emergency testing may require prolonged interaction with lethal military androids. Rest assured that all lethal military androids have been taught to read and provided with one copy of the Laws of Robotics to share. Good. If you feel that a lethal military android has not respected your rights as detailed in the Laws of Robotics, please note it on your self-reporting form. A future Aperture Science Entitlement Associate will initiate the appropriate grievance filing paperwork.
We talk on Instant Messenger. I was away at school in Michigan at the time.
This next test is very dangerous. To help you remain tranquil in the face of almost certain death, smooth jazz will be deployed in 3, 2, 1. Great work. Because this message is pre-recorded, any observations related to your performance are speculation on our part. Please disregard any undeserved compliments.
Great times. This has just turned into a Portal speed run. Well, not speed run even, because I'm not using like anything good and
If the Enrichment Center is currently being bombarded with fireballs, meteorites, or other objects from space, please avoid unsheltered testing areas wherever a lack of shelter from space debris does not appear to be a deliberate part of the test. Well done. The Enrichment Center reminds you that although circumstances may appear bleak, you are not alone. All Aperture Science personality constructs will remain functional in apocalyptic, low-power environments of as few as 1.1 volts.
And then there's all the stuff that you're going to miss in the future.
Oh, I have another viewer. Oh, hey, Kevin. Yeah,
this next test applies the principles of momentum to movement through portals. If the laws of physics no longer apply in the future, God help you.
This is me playing Portal 2 while this is playing in the background.
You don't take the time to.
And basically just waiting for that to occur.
I don't have my brother anymore. He's not around. I don't have the opportunity to like my best man, when I get married, my kids will have biological brother. They won't have Joel. They hit the uncle. So many things.
You can't recreate in your memory. Here. When I'm 80.
If you are a non-employee who has discovered this facility amid the ruins of civilization, welcome. And remember, testing is the future, and the future starts with you.
I'm more than a hazard on the road.
My life, the lives of my friends and family
are too important to risk. I choose to not drive distracted.
I don't feel like and a place for texting. And it's not in my car. It only takes 1 second to distract to cause a wreck.
I choose to keep my focus on the road. I choose to put my phone away. I won't be another statistic.
I will not be distracted. It's not worth it.
Good work getting this far, future starter. That said, if you are simple-minded, old, or irradiated in such a way that the future should not start with you,
Well,
please return to your primitive tribe and
3 viewers? This is insane. Oh yeah, the extremely depressing stories. Let me find it. Oh, it's done. Here, I'll bring it over here for the. Oh, hey Kevin, you want to see something cool? Like, say in chat if you want to see something cool, and I'll show you that you can do with this. Like, say in chat that you want to see it, and it's really cool. Oh, not what I meant to do. Come on, Kevin. Say in chat what you want if you want to see something really cool. It's really neat. Also, who's the other viewer? Like, say something in chat if you want to get, like, high-fived. Like, I'll high-five you on Mondays. If you, say who you are. Lesson
Nukes,
4. Oh, this one's only
meteorites,
5 minutes long.
UFOs, cell phones.
I'll let this play.
While the odds are virtually slim to none that you'd ever be distracted by nukes, meteorites, or UFOs while driving, cell phones are and continue to be a major distraction for teens behind the wheel. Are you able to identify the 3 types of distractions that a person may experience while driving?
You did find a portal gun! Oh, do you know what? It just goes to show people with brain damage are the real heroes in the end, aren't they, at the end of the day? Brave. Okay, listen, let me...
These are distractions that take your hands off the
They told me never, ever to disengage myself from my management rail, or I would die. But we're out of options here, so get ready to catch me, alright, on the off chance that I'm not dead the moment I pop off this thing.
Let's look at distractions that may occur inside your vehicle.
1.
That burger you just ordered
2.
from the drive-thru is
3. That's high. It's too high, isn't it? Really? That. All right, going on 3 just gives you too much time to think about it. Let's go on 1 this time. Okay, ready? 1. Catch me! Catch out!
At that moment, a cognitive distraction occurs.
I'm not dead. I'm not dead.
You can't wait and reach over to
plug me into that stick on the wall over there, yeah, and I'll show you something. You'll be impressed by this.
While a drop of ketchup falls.
Yeah, I can't do it if you're watching.
Look down to see the message.
Seriously, I'm not joking.
Yep.
Could you just turn around for a second?
You've experienced a visual distraction. In a matter of seconds, a driver can experience all 3 types of distractions.
I can't do it if you're watching.
Cell phones can easily cause all 3
right, you can turn around
distractions.
Bam!
After all,
Secret panel.
Send a text requires your hands,
while your back was turned, and off we go.
I bet you never thought about how adjusting your radio can distract
Look at this!
you in
No
3
rail to tell us where to go! Oh, this is brilliant. We can go wherever we want.
Your passengers.
Hold on though, where are we
There
going?
are numerous ways
Hang on, let me
that
just
can
get my
cause
bearings.
the different types of distractions to occur.
This is great.
All distractions endanger the safety of the driver, passengers, and any bystanders. Think about how much the actions on this list can affect a driver's ability to operate a vehicle safely.
Yes, hello, no, we're not stopping.
Now,
don't make eye contact, whatever you do.
No, thanks,
very good. Appreciate it. Keep moving, keep moving.
Saving
Emergency
point.
vehicles can easily cause a driver to look away from the direction they are
Easily
driving.
cause a driver to look away from their
Drivers are
position.
often
This
distracted
is
trying to
amazing
determine the
when they
direction that the emergency vehicle is
Probably ought to bring you
from
up to speed
or
on something
heading towards.
right now. In order to escape, we're going to have to go through her chamber,
Glancing over to
and
observe
she will probably
roadside
kill us
construction
if
takes your
she's
eyes off the road.
awake.
This visual distraction.
Okay, I'm going to lay my cards on the table. I don't want to do it. I don't want to go in there. Don't go in
Watch
there.
out.
She's off. She's off. Don't panic over it. She's off. Oh, fine. There we go.
You were lucky.
There she is. What a nasty piece of work she was, honestly. Like a proper maniac. Do you know who ended up taking her down in the end? You're not going to believe this. A human.
I know. I wouldn't have believed it either. Apparently this human escaped and nobody's seen him since.
Really be a pain.
Then there was a sort of long chunk of time where... still held! Still being held. That's a great job. You've applied the grit, we're all fine. That's tremendous.
To some,
I just looked down. I do not recommend it.
Send text messages. Reach in the back seat for something.
This is the main breaker room. Look for a switch that says escape pod. Alright, don't touch anything else. Not interested in anything else. Don't touch anything else. Don't even look at anything else. Just, well, obviously you've got to look at everything else to find escape pod. But as soon as you look at something that doesn't say escape pod, look at something else. Look at the next thing. Alright, but don't touch anything else or look at anything. Well, look at other things, but don't. You understand?
Instantly, you've got
Can you see it anywhere? I can't see it anywhere. Tell you what, plug me in and I'll turn the lights on.
Always keep in mind that there are several factors outside
Let there be light.
that can cause different types of distractions.
God. It's quoting God. Oh, look at that. Turning.
Are you more
ominous? But probably fine, as long as it doesn't start, moving off. No. Escape pod, escape pod. It's moving up. Okay, no, don't worry. I've got it. This should slow it down. No, it makes it go faster.
Every time you take your eyes off the road,
power up initiated.
Okay, don't panic. All right, stop panicking. I can still stop this.
Never catch.
Oh, there's a password. Okay, it's fine. I'll just hack it. Not a problem. Wait, did I do big? Do you have a pen? Start writing these down.
Power up complete.
I don't. Okay, listen. All right, new plan. Act natural. Nothing.
That is exactly nice. I feel like I should just have this running in the corner.
Sometimes it's those left behind who suffer the most. Distracted driving. It's not worth it.
Let me just... Not what I meant to do. Display capture too. That's... I might just have that. And then a display. I'm gonna make that really small and in the corner, so you can see the progress of that. So then you're gonna be able to see me take this nice thing. Correct.
Text cause wrecks.
This one's 9 minutes. Not as bad.
Did you know teens' #1 chosen method of communication is texting? Recent studies from the Southwest Region University Transportation Center of Texas A&M Transportation Institute show using voice-to-text technology is not safer than manually texting while driving.
Be careful not to trip over any parts of me.
In order for an individual to operate a vehicle safely, they must remain attentive.
The dual portal device
Drivers
should be
must
around
be able
here
to
somewhere.
operate all of
Once
their
you find
vehicle
it, we
controls
can start
and keep the
testing,
vehicle on the
just
road
like old
in the
times.
correct lane.
There it is.
They
Hold
must
on.
also have the ability to adjust speed and change lanes while checking for danger.
There.
Being aware of changing weather conditions and paying attention while
Good.
entering
You
and
have a
exiting
dual
each
portal device.
intersection is also
There should be a
vital.
way back to the testing area up ahead. Once testing starts, I'm required by protocol to keep
texting has
interaction with you
language
to a
all its
minimum.
own.
Luckily, we
How
haven't
familiar
started
are you
testing
with
yet.
the texting
This will
language?
be our only chance to
Texting while
talk.
driving
Do
is a
you know
very
the
serious
biggest lesson
problem
I
in our
learned from what
society
you
that most
did?
teens
I
overlook.
discovered I have a sort of black
As you
box
may know,
quick save feature.
the language of
In the
texting
event of a
allows someone to
catastrophic
send a long
failure, the
message
last 2
with
minutes
just
of
a
my
few
life
simple
were preserved
characters.
for analysis.
Although
I
it
was
may
able,
seem
well,
harmless,
forced to
texting
to
LOL
live you
or
killing me
TTYL
again
while
and
driving
again,
still causes
forever.
several types of
You know,
distractions,
if you'd done that
and
to
that can
somebody
be
else,
lethal.
they might devote their existence to exactly
What is a text
them.
message really worth?
Luckily, I'm a
How
bigger person
important
than
is
that.
posting a recent
I'm
photo
happy to put
or
this all
replying
behind
to a
us and
friend
get
while
back to
driving?
work. After all, we've got
Is
a
it worth
lot to
receiving
do
a ticket
and only 60
and having
more
to pay
years to do
expensive
it.
fines?
More or less. I don't have
Is
the
it worth
actuarial
losing your driver
tables in front
license
of me.
and having to count on
But
someone
the
else to drive
important
you
thing
around?
is you're back with me.
Is
And now I'm on
texting
to all
and
your
driving
little
worth
tricks.
losing your friends?
So there's nothing to stop us from testing.
Or
for
is
the
it worth
rest of
losing your
life.
family?
After that, who knows?
Is texting
I
while
might
driving
take up a
worth
hobby.
killing someone or even
Reanimating the
losing
dead,
your
maybe.
own life?
This is just
Your
great.
life and the lives around you are valuable and far more important than sending or reading any text message while driving. Save yourself and those around you. Don't text and drive.
Sorry
Next,
about
we're
the
going
mess.
to take a look
I've
at
really
just how
let the
easy
place go
texting
since
while
you killed
driving
me.
can affect
By the
you
way,
and
thanks
those
for
that
that.
are close to
Sarcasm
you.
self-test complete.
As you watch this
Oh,
video,
good. That's back
keep in
online.
mind these are not
I'll start
actors
getting
but real
everything
people
else
who have had to
working
deal
while
with the
you perform this
aftermath
first
of poor
simple
choices
test,
made behind
which
the wheel.
involves deadly lasers and how test subjects react when locked in a room with deadly lasers.
Amanda Clark. Nice, honest, caring, trustworthy. Who needs friends, compassion, love. Who feels anger and compassion. Who fears death and being alone.
Not bad. I forgot how good you are at this.
Who is concerned about
You
my
should pace
family
yourself, though.
and
We have
my
a-
future.
Volume just getting turned up 8 times.
They don't really want to be friends with you, but Amanda was like my best friend.
She was fun to be with. You know, she had that certain smile that made everybody smile.
This next
be in a
test
bad mood,
involves
she'd just
discouragement redirection
smile.
cubes. I just
Yeah,
finished
it would
building
make you
them
wanna
before you
smile
had your,
with her.
well, episode. So now we'll both get to see how they work. There should be one in the
thing that I
corner.
could change in my life, it would be the ability to see my family more than I do. I really enjoy spending time with my family and miss them. I want to see them and spend as much time with them as I can. I hate the thought of dying without my family and knowing how I felt about them.
Okay, another
March
depressing story.
31st, 2006. Amanda had spent the day in Manteca. It had rained all day, and I just had an odd feeling. Amanda stayed in Manteca. She's like, no, Mom, I want to come home. So she headed home and took a different route that she normally did. And she was on her cell phone.
Talking, trying to find out where she was going, where she was at. And she assumed, well, the person who told her on the phone assumed that it was a four-way stop.
Well done.
Which it was not.
Here come the test
It was
results.
just past 7 p.m.
You are a horrible person.
My car
That's what
rolled
it
3
says.
times,
A horrible
and
person.
the only part of the
We
room
weren't
that wasn't
even testing for that.
part over my head. I know I'm not.
I thought this would be a wake-up call for her. It was for a short period of time. She wouldn't talk on the phone. She was more cautious. But she got more confident in her driving again, and the sense of, hey, I've survived one. I'm invincible. Nothing's going to happen to me now.
I believe everything happens for a reason, and the reason for my car accident is to let me know that I need to slow down. I know that I need to change how I've been living my life. My phone and talking to my friends put my life in danger. I realize how easy it is for my life to be over because I wasn't paying attention. I'm glad to have one more chance to prove myself.
April 1st, 2007, we received an emergency response call to the area of 129. Upon arrival, we found a car that had gone over the embankment and it was
The first responders came to the hospital too and informed us that
How sad.
it took 40 minutes
Don't
to
let
get her
that
out of the
horrible
car.
person thing discourage you. It's just
And for
a data
20 of those
point.
minutes she wasn't
If it
breathing.
makes you feel any better, science has now validated your birth mother's decision to abandon you on a doorstep.
But as a mother, I couldn't let go. I had to hold on to any shred of hope. I want to tell her story. I need for everybody to hear it. And one thing I tell teenagers is
Not on
when
the
you get in
test.
that car,
Most people
think of
emerge from
Amanda.
suspension terribly undernourished. I want to congratulate you on beating the odds and somehow managing to pack on a few pounds.
Cell phones being used in cars, it's a selfish act because you're putting not only your life in your hands, but everybody on the road with you. And that are the chances you take every time
One moment.
you pick up that phone when you're behind the wheel.
You are navigating these test chambers faster than I can build them, so feel free to slow down and do whatever it is you do when you're not destroying this
Amanda
facility.
would say that phone call's not worth it.
There's no text that could come across or no information that would be more important than being able to hug your daughter or greet your son or celebrate their birthday. Kids just tend not to realize how important that is to us as parents.
No parent should say goodbye to their child.
I'll give you credit. I guess you are listening to me. But for the record, you don't have to go that slowly. Waddle over to the elevator and we'll continue the testing.
Oh, lesson 5 already. How crazy is that? Oh, lesson. This is just really fun, you know? You know what? I in fact want to...
Amanda's story shows the importance of wise decision-making every time you are behind the wheel.
I'm gonna add another display.
You may not always get a second chance like Amanda did. After all, 4,000 teenagers a year don't.
Display capture. It's highly realistic. I'm just gonna... I think we need a few more of these. Just gonna... Yeah. This is what we need. There we go. Perfect. Now we're all good. Oh wait, no, it's time to take the test. texting while driving is not that bad. Yeah, that's true. To operate a vehicle safely, drivers must know how to operate. No. Silly. If you're driving a stick shift, you just gotta know how to reverse. While driving, if you have to send a text message, it's safer to send a short message. Yeah. In Amanda's video, yeah, absolutely. After the crash, no. Next. I kind of listened to another one that's... Oh, this one's exactly 212 in length.
Or intoxicated.
There's no way that's a mistake.
Texting behind the wheel
exactly
or being intoxicated
212
behind the wheel. Have you ever compared the two?
Boy. Intoxicated.
Texting for many teens is their primary form of communication. For that reason, the majority of teens may not consider texting a potential danger when driving. This guy sure doesn't consider texting a potential danger when driving. Suppose you are a law enforcement officer and you have spotted a vehicle doing one or more of the following behaviors. Would you think the driver was driving distracted or intoxicated? All of the behaviors that were displayed can be signs of both distracted and intoxicated drivers. I bet you never thought the combination of texting could be just as lethal as driving while intoxicated.
It has become one of the leading killers of teens in America. It is illegal and completely preventable.
You know what?
The Highway Patrol is committed to keeping our citizens safe from...
Just 1 second.
From distracted driving.
Not distracted driving. No.
As a two-time NASCAR champion, I understand the need to focus. I'm driving 2 tons of metal at 150 miles an hour for 500 miles. One simple distraction can end my race or my career. And I do this for a living. Distracted driving is the #1 killer of teens in America. So be smart, focus on the road ahead, and get to where you're going safely.
Oh, the test is over. Intoxicated is it, sir? Yeah, you know what? True. Don't you know? It's more dangerous to be intoxicated, fouls. I'm just gonna say the same. Yep. Several behaviors can be signs of both distracted and intoxicated drivers, correct? If a law enforcement officer spots a driver crossing multiple lanes, they can automatically assume they are intoxicated. No. Texting for many teens is the primary form of communication. No. But I guess, okay. I guess so.
Graduated driver license, also known as GDL, was implemented in Texas January 1st, 2002. The objective of the GDL law is to slowly introduce young drivers to the correct ways of driving responsibly. It also gives new drivers the chance to improve their driving skills over time with limited distractions. Let's take a closer look at the Texas Graduated Driver License Program.
I'll be dogged. The kid's getting a driver license, huh? Whoa! Clear the roads! Seriously though, it's scary stuff. You're a new driver cruising down the highway, to say nothing of all the nuisances you may be facing. Hoo-wee! But really, look at the statistics. Drivers between the ages of 15 and 19 are much more likely to experience a collision. You don't want that. I don't want that. Heck, the state of Texas doesn't want that. And that's why states nationwide have adopted graduated driver licensing regulations. I know, it sounds complicated, but don't worry. I'm here to help. Welcome to Graduated Driver Licensing Made Simple. Now, each state has its own set of specific rules and regulations. But today, we're taking a look at the great state of Texas. Meet Daniel and his mom, Kay. They're about to start on the adventure of the GDO. Daniel turned 15 and has completed the first 6 hours of driver education. In Texas, this means he's eligible to apply for his learner's permit. He and his mom have even spent time together studying this year's Texas driver's handbook, discussing safe driving behaviors, and setting some top rules. All they have to do now is head down to the local Department of Public Safety, where he'll take the written driver's exam. A handful of harrowing questions later, Daniel is a proud learner permit recipient. So what now? Now the intermediate phase of the GDL begins. Daniel needs to complete his driver education, which includes 40 hours supervised behind the wheel, 10 of which have to be at night, with Kay, a driving school, or another licensed driver over the age of 21. The supervised driving period is really important because it gives experienced drivers a chance to make sure that their protege is learning excellent safety practices behind the wheel. Now that he's got his permit, Daniel needs to spend at least 6 months working on his driving abilities under his mom's watchful eye. After 6 months of practice, and once he turns 16, he'll be able to move on to the next phase. Meet Amanda and her dad, Jason. Amanda is 16 years old and just spent the last 6 months learning Dad's best tips and tricks for how to pull off the perfect parallel parking job, among other vital rules of the road. She's now ready to embark on that vital rite of passage, the road test. They will head over to DPS, where Amanda will show off her shiny new driving skills. Passing her road test, she'll now enter the intermediate stage of the GDL.
And I'm sorry. You didn't react at the time, so I was worried.
Amanda will finally be able to strike out on her own. Brand new Mercedes. Yeah, whatever. She may be allowed to drive still, but there are still safety restrictions on her provisional license. These restrictions are meant to protect teen drivers from potentially dangerous situations and distractions on the road. Until she turns 18, she can't drive between the hours of midnight and 5 a.m. unless for school, work, or medical emergency. No driving with more than one passenger at the age of 21, unless accompanied by a licensed adult age 21 or older. And finally, until the age of 18, no wireless communication devices can be used, hands-free or not, unless for an emergency. Amanda knows it's important to stay alert and aware while she's driving, because Texas law has specific provisions for intermediate drivers. Repeated accidents or injuries caused by drivers with a provisional license carry fines, and can even result in their license being suspended or revoked. After she turns 18, the state's GDO restrictions will be lifted. Congratulations! At this point, Amanda is a fully licensed, unrestricted, ready-to-go driving machine. Of course, Jason makes sure to let her know that having an unrestricted license doesn't give her complete freedom of the road. Unsafe driving, cell phone use, alcohol consumption, and traffic regulations are just a few of the things young drivers need to stay responsible about as they embark on the trip from learner to pro. So, let's recap. At age 15, a Texan is old enough to apply for a learner permit. He or she must be enrolled in driver education with the first 6 hours completed. At the DPS, the ready student will take the written driver exam, which must be passed to receive a learner permit. During the next 6 months, and at age 16, the new driver must have completed driver education, have 30 hours of supervised driving time, 10 of which must be at night, agree to set house rules, and review the Texas driver handbook. Now, the road test. With a passing score, a provisional license is issued. The new driver no longer needs supervision, but some restrictions will stay in place, like not having more than one passenger under age 21 without supervision, and no driving between the hours of midnight and 5 a.m. unless for work, school, or emergency. Restrictions on wireless communication devices, hands-free or not.
Every test chamber is equipped with an emancipation grill at its exit, so that test subjects cannot smuggle test objects out of the test area. This one is broken.
Hopefully, this handy guide has helped you make sense of the ins and outs of graduated driver licensing. For more information and specific rules for other states, check out t-drive.com and allstatefoundation.org/teen-driving and teendriving.nsc.org. Happy driving!
This graph illustrates the number of crashes that occurred amongst different drivers grouped by age and driving experience. Within the different groups, each colored bar represents the number of passengers that were in the vehicle at the time of the crash. It is evident that the more passengers younger drivers have in a vehicle, the greater the risk of being involved in a car crash.
I love you.
These numbers are significant in drivers between the ages of 16 and 17. Did you know distractions and inattention while driving cause 68% of rear-end crashes?
Distractions?
Were you aware that distractions are a bigger challenge for teen drivers? One of the main reasons distractions are a bigger challenge for teen drivers is because they lack experience.
Remember,
Next is the story of Sierra and Caleb. Remember, these are not actors, but real people affected by distractions behind the wheel.
Wait, this next test does require some explanation. Let me give you the fast version. There, if you have any questions, just remember what I said in slow motion. Test on your own recognizance. I'll be right back.
Beautiful. Yeah, it was a cheerleader.
I met Sierra in middle school and got close to Caleb soon after spending a lot of time at her house with her and her brother. She was
We dated in high school. Beautiful, first of all. Sierra had a smile. What absolutely changed your day.
She was very happy with where she was and what was happening at that time. Even on the tough days, I don't remember her not being happy to see
Sierra was the sweetest girl I'd ever met. She was nice.
Sierra started doing pageants. Sierra was always known pageants, and I would always get so mad at her because I wanted to leave and she would win every time. She tried out for cheerleaders and I still took seat. She wanted to be a varsity cheerleader. And I had varsity. Like she was always like, she was intelligent.
Yeah, she was in those all honors classes.
She was on vacations all the time. We always went as a family on vacations. Sierra was on the quieter side, and Caleb was always yelling and loud and funny.
Caleb was a funny guy to a lot of people.
He was a jokester.
He was such a dork.
He's a class clown. Caleb was a mess. That kid was one of the goofiest kids I've ever met in my whole entire life.
We used to call Caleb Muffin because he looked like a muffin. I believe it was 8th grade when I met him. He was the funniest kid ever. He took every opportunity to make you laugh.
You wouldn't even have to know the person, you just wanted to see them, like, smile. It didn't matter what you looked like or whether you were popular.
Every time he laughed or would smile, he'd light up the room too. If you made him laugh, like his face would turn beet red. You can't help but love him.
Even the kids that didn't want to be in theater loved watching him perform because he made everything fun.
He could be so funny the whole day and then like one snap of finger, he's like getting the deepest questions I've ever heard.
He was just so curious.
He had so many different sides to him. He loved to hunt, he loved to like cook and all these random things, and he was so good at it.
Wanted to take care of everybody. Wanted to do the cooking.
He was a really good cook too.
Caleb too was a baseball player. That's the number 3, but he's just right.
He embraced her.
Look at you, sailing through the air majestically, like an eagle, proud of your range.
There were two of the greatest people just to show what love is.
Mourning in Burnett, where 2 young high school students died when their car crashed into a school bus yesterday.
I was on Highway 29 East, making a left turn, and I looked up in my rearview mirror, and I saw this car coming at me. And I was hoping, hope they get over.
This where the crash happened. The bus was
making a left
You know what,
turn.
I'm
on
gonna
this
make it
county
more
road.
dramatic. I'm gonna add an echo
Caleb
to
and
it.
Sierra came up behind them and impacted the rear of the bus.
We're dispatched to a car versus school bus. It was chaotic. The car was underneath the school bus in the rear end.
The day of the accident started just like any other day, not knowing that that was going to be the last morning that we saw them alive.
We were at an event called Winter Jam. Caleb and Sierra were coming up to join us after school.
I got a telephone call.
And all I could make out was there's been an accident.
We think it's Sierra. It can't be. Sierra's too innocent to be doing any bad thing.
You know, I just kept saying, we need to get there, we need to get there. And
So I just started driving that way. I saw a constable just like blow by me, and I knew it wasn't good.
I just kept telling them those were my babies. I needed to get to them. I get to see them.
I just hear Caleb and Sierra passed away.
I was on my computer on Facebook, and I saw people posting pictures of a car, and it looked like Sierra's car.
Somebody put "Rest in peace, Sierra."
I had to go back and
Enjoy this next test.
that what they
I'm
saw
going to go
was
to the
true.
surface.
Well,
It's a
thanks,
beautiful
for me,
day
I had
out.
to go up and
Yesterday I
identify
saw a deer.
at the funeral
If you
home.
solve this next test, maybe I'll let you
Oh,
ride an
man.
elevator
A couple
all the
hours
way
ago,
up to
they
the
were
break
full of life and
room.
everything, and then
And I'll tell you about the time I saw a deer again.
I'm only 16. We're too young for this to be happening. We're supposed to go to the game on Friday. We're supposed to go to the movies this weekend.
It was a very hard day at Burnett High School.
Very difficult to act as though this was another day.
And I don't think anyone's like the same that know them.
Everybody's equal at that moment. You know, they're not teenagers, they're not adults, we're not adults, I'm not their teacher. We were just hurting.
In Burnett, final farewells for two teenagers who lost their lives in a car accident last Thursday.
More than 1,000 people turned out at Burnett High School Sunday to mourn the teens, flowers crowding their caskets.
I think the hardest part was physically carrying her body.
You just don't know what a loss, how it changes your life. They left a 9-year-old little brother.
It's that ripple effect afterwards, those aftershocks, that you don't think about until it happens.
It wasn't just like a little splash. It was a massive wave that was affected by their loss.
Losing two really, really close friends like that, it's something that I wish no one has to ever experience.
I just miss having a very close friend because I feel like I won't let myself get as close to anybody else.
Your life will and does affect so many others.
You're not invincible. It could, it could happen to anybody.
You get a text on your phone, like it's not worth it.
Just a split second, could change your life forever.
Definitely just to live being careful and making smart decisions.
Just 1 second of not paying attention. You just don't think about that when you're driving.
You have other people's lives in jeopardy other than just yourself.
You don't ever want to do anything that could put one of your friends' lives at risk.
Think about others around you. Think about the people in your life.
The risk is way too great for you just to take that chance.
Been doing this for 19 years, and I'm really tired of seeing dead bodies.
It could possibly change everybody's life around you forever.
This tragedy could have been prevented.
Whoop.
Good decision-making in a vehicle is the responsibility
Looks
of both
like
the driver and passengers.
we still have 7
Remember to
more
speak
minutes
up
in
when you
this
find
lesson.
yourself in
Wow.
unsafe
I'm
situations.
learning so much.
Where we live, it's 20 to 30 minutes to Fresno or 20 minutes up to Oakhurst, so the kids cannot walk to school, they can't walk to the movies, they pretty much have to drive wherever they go.
These roads are different because it's not like you're in a city where you have 3 lanes and 3 lanes.
To get to the closest little market is 3 miles from our house. They're windy, curvy, up and down roads, and not the easiest roads to get around on.
Yike.
Brahim was very much into skateboarding with his friends, finding places and trying to do tricks and grinding.
I didn't see the deer today.
Went through Vans.
I did see some humans. What was you here? I've got more test subjects than I'll ever need.
He enjoyed skateboarding and music. Yes, he played the bass.
He
and he
played
loved
the
to
bass.
skateboard, and he was
Man,
doing very well at the bass.
these
actually.
depressing stories, I've just been desensitized to them. It's just... I mean, they have no effect
These
now.
bridges are made from natural light that I pump in from the surface. If you rubbed your cheek on one, it would be like standing outside with the sun shining on your face. It would also set your hair on fire, so don't actually
He was a
do
friend
it.
of my nephew. He wanted bass lessons, and so he became a regular student of mine.
This became his passion. I mean, he loved it. He practiced all the time. Some of his friends joined a band, and I think they had talked before about joining a band, and there were no bass players. So Brahim said, yeah, I can do that. It's, not the typical everybody wants to be a drummer or a guitar player, but he'll be the bass player.
They call them back garage kind of bands, and he used to have his own friends. They used to practice all the time, either here or some other places, at other people's garages, and they all had a good time.
He loved being in the band with the other guys, and it was a good connection for them.
First time I met Brahim was first band practice we ever had. We started a band, and then I met him first.
These bridges are made from natural light
band
that I
practice,
pump
yeah.
in from the
At
surface.
one point we had a show
If you
that
rubbed your
like
cheek on one,
every
it would be
week,
like standing
like down
outside with the
Fresno.
sun shining on your face.
And locally,
it would
in
also
Oakhurst
set your hair
up
on
here,
fire,
'cause we
so
got
don't
deeper
actually
into
do
the
it.
genres of punk and ska.
Brahim was into punk. Was his favorite, and they were actually the more musical band of the 3 or 4 bands he played with. I hopefully tried to teach him how to hear something if he heard a song and be able to try to help him figure it out. With those kind of songs, they're a lot more attitude.
And Brahim was very much rooting for the underdog and wanted people to speak up. He celebrated people's differences. And so he was kind of an ambassador in some ways for his home country, Lebanon. He was very proud of being Lebanese and wanted people to know that what life was like in Lebanon and set the
Still got
story straight
3
for
minutes
Lebanon.
left on this lesson, and there's only one more lesson till I get my certificate.
These bridges are made from natural light that I pump in from the surface. If you rubbed your cheek on one, it would be like standing outside with the sun shining on your face. It would also set your hair on fire, so don't actually do
He didn't want
it.
to show it most of the time because we were all punk rockers, He cared for everybody.
Whoa.
They were doing CPR, and it's kind of a blur. I mean, I remember ambulances, fire truck, lots of people, but I couldn't tell you who was there. But I just found Brahim, and I just stood there saying, come on, come back, come back. They kept telling me, back up, you gotta back up. But I didn't. I stood right there, and I heard him say time of death. And I just freaked out.
Whoa.
I kept telling him, don't quit. There's still a chance, don't quit. But they said they'd been doing it long enough that there was no chance. And I just was screaming, no, don't quit.
I was told when I was at the school that he had been in the car with several friends and that perhaps there had not been enough seatbelts. But it wasn't until we actually got the police report that we'd known that the boy had had a traffic violation 2 days before that for the same thing of carrying youth in his car and no seatbelts. We still have his cell phone connected because we call it every once in a while just to hear his voice, so we don't forget. The message still hasn't sunken in. Kids who think we're just going up the road. Nothing's gonna happen. I lost a child. My daughter has lost one of her very dearest friends, her big brother. There's a gap in our family. We feel his presence, but it's not him.
Tragic stories such as Sierra and Caleb's and Ibrahim's are just two of the many that bring awareness to the impact of distractions behind the wheel and GDL law violations. Laws protect the safety of not only the driver, but passengers as well.
Get to lesson 8. Once I get this to a safe place.
Excellent. You're a predator, and these tests are your prey. Speaking of which,
Alright, let's see. Let's do this. Whoa. Alright, we're doing the test. Aha. Lesson 8. Only 4 minutes.
What can you do? Making good choices is the responsibility of both the driver and passenger. All the videos you saw today were examples that it can happen to anyone.
This is the summary video. Thank you.
The stories were not of bad teens doing bad things.
It's good teens making poor choices.
with all the money I save recycling
Whether you
your
are the
one
driver
room full of
or a
air.
passenger,
When you
it is
die,
important to
I'm
role
going to
model good
laminate your
behavior
skeleton
and speak
pose
up
you in
when
the
you find
lobby.
yourself in
That
any
way, future
unsafe
generations
situation.
can learn from
To
you
reduce
how
the
not
risk
to
of
have
being
your
involved in a
unfortunate
crash,
bone
you
structure.
also want to stay alert
Perfect.
and place
The
your
door's
cell phone out of
malfunctioning.
reach while
I
driving.
guess somebody's going to have
And
to
please
repair
always
that too.
buckle up and require your passengers do the same.
I'll be right
Remember,
back.
automobile
Don't
crashes
touch
caused by
anything.
distracted driving are not accidents. They are 100% preventable.
Hey,
When driving, it is your responsibility to keep yourself and those around you safe. What is it going to take to change the driving culture to one that is safer and does not involve multitasking behind the wheel?
Okay,
It
look, the point
begins
is,
by
we're
changing
gonna break out of here,
behaviors.
all right? Very soon, I promise.
There are 3
I just
factors
have
in
to figure
behavioral
out how
changes.
to
The
break us
first
out of
factor
here.
is a
Here she
goal
comes.
or
Keep
incentive.
just keep testing.
In this case,
Remember, you never
the
saw
goal
me.
would
Never
be
saw
to
me.
become a safe driver, which leads
I
to
went and
saving
spoke
your
with the
life
doorman
and the
thing.
lives of
Let's
others.
just say he won't be
The second
well
factor
living
is social
anymore.
influence,
Anyway,
which consists of your
back to
peers
testing.
and society as a whole. Always set positive examples by demonstrating safe driving habits. This way, peers are influencing one another to keep safety first. The third factor is structure and/or processes. In this case, it would be laws such as current GDL restrictions that help to eliminate distractions and promote safe driving habits. A positive change in driving behavior leads to a change in attitude towards distracted driving. Once attitudes about distracted driving are changed, people are affected in a bigger way. It changes the driving culture among not only teen drivers, but all drivers. The Texas Department of Public Safety and Impact Texas Teen Drivers wants to empower you to deliver the message that good decision-making behind the wheel can save
in the
lives.
commendation section. Oh, there's lots of room here.
Driving is a privilege, and because it's one of the most dangerous things you do on a daily basis.
Dangerous
demand
thing.
your undivided attention. Every year,
Undivided
thousands of people
attention.
die on
Well,
Texas
this video
highways,
doesn't have my undivided
and tens of thousands
I don't know if
more are
that's a good or
seriously
bad
injured
thing.
or permanently disfigured.
Permanently?
Anything that
This next
takes
test
your
involves
attention off the road,
You
Tourists.
remember
texting,
them, right?
talking
They're
on
the
your
pale
cell
spherical
phone,
things that
or
are
even
full
eating
of bullets.
can create a deadly
Oh, wait,
situation
that's
when you're
you in
driving.
5 seconds.
Unfortunately,
Good luck.
these types of distracted driving crashes happen every day. In fact, traffic crashes are the #1 killer of teens in America. The Texas Department of Public Safety is counting on you to help us change all that. Every time you get behind the wheel, your actions have the power to affect not only yourself, but your passengers, your family, other people's loved ones, and other travelers on the road. My hope is that you'll always put driving first. Any distraction while you're driving can always wait. It only takes a few seconds of inattention for a tragedy to strike. I urge you to share this important message with your friends, your family, and do your part to keep Texas roads safe for everyone. Thank you, and drive safe out there.
This course was made possible through the organizational partnership of
Are you still there?
Ah, is that it? That is it. Haha! There's my certificate. You have completed. Print and sign your ITTD certificate. Bring it to your local driver's license office or authorized third-party skills test school before driving your skills examination within 90 days. Your certificate is only valid for 90 days. I do. Is that the certificate? Yeah. I'm gonna print this. I'll print it in full color because I'm feeling rambunctious. Alright. Well, that's going to be it for the stream today in that case, because that's literally all I wanted to do. Alright. Also, someone just liked it. Nice. Anyway. Well, that's fun. Good job, dude. Good job. Wow. Thanks for taking the DPS with me. Take it again next year.